Hello everyone, Michael Williams here. It's good to be here with you again today. I'm sure that some of you are going to be watching this as a recording because I let you know late that I was going to be doing this. But we will be doing it every week, and it'll be generally Wednesdays or Thursdays around this time. So even if you don't get to join me live, you will get to join me by watching the recording. So please be sure that you type in your questions. It also would be great if you would type into the comment box from where you're connecting, just letting me know who you are and where you're at. In order to watch this, you have to be a part of this group, so that's really cool. Today, we're going to be doing a couple of things. Number one, we're going to be talking about 3 Stop Stuttering Secrets that could change your life. Now, I want to let you know where I got that title, and then we're going to talk about a couple of other things. So, the reason that I use this particular title is as I was looking at my website, my blog, and I was looking at searches that people have been using to find my website, or searches that they've been using on my website. One of the ones that's been coming up for a long time has been Stop Stuttering Secrets. So that's why I decided to create this particular series. And I'm extremely excited about the information that I'm going to be sharing with you, because it's stuff that you may not necessarily hear. These are things that you've probably heard from me at one time or another, but I'm going to package them all in this one series. So in today's live broadcast, I'm not going to be able to go through everything, but we're going to get started, and this will probably go on for a couple of weeks. I am going to, though, create a relatively short video. I'm going to say it'll be less than 15 minutes, where I go through the entire 3 Stop Stuttering Secrets. Okay, so we're going to do that today. We're going to start on this series talking about 3 Stop Stuttering Secrets. The second thing that we're going to do is I'm just going to share briefly with you some huge updates coming to the Pro90D speech system. These are huge updates. These updates come from feedback from people like you, students and clients. I'm constantly listening to students and clients, and while I'm not able to do everything that students and clients ask me, but I try to incorporate as many of their feedback as possible. So I've been incrementally making some pretty significant changes to the system itself, to the online course, as well as just to how we package things and how we do things. And these changes are made so that you will be able to get more from the programs, from the services and the programs. Okay, some prices have gone up, some prices have actually come down, right? So we've been playing around and changing our pricing strategy so that we can get you stuff, we can get you the services that you need to help you to speak well, right? Often for lower cost. There are other products and services that we have that cost more. Why? Because we only want serious people in those programs, people who are ready to invest their time and their money to take care of their speech, okay? So we have a range of things. Well, let's jump right in and let's start talking about 3 Stop Stuttering Secrets. If you're just joining us, would love to hear where you're joining us from, and it's good to have you here. So, if you have questions, please feel free to type them into the comment box, okay? So let's get started. The first thing that we want to talk about in terms of these 3 Stop Stuttering Secrets is that these are things that people may not necessarily tell you. They may not necessarily tell you. And the first thing, hey Griffin, all right, man, how you doing? It's good to see you. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to share with you 2 principles. 2 principles. So we're going to do 3 Stop Stuttering Secrets. We're not going to do them all today. But I want to share with you 2 principles first. And this first principle, let's call it The principle of liking yourself. The principle of liking yourself. Now, why is this important? Why is this important? Hey, Utkarsh, how are you? From India. Good to see you. Why is it important that you like yourself? Now, let me just tell you, years ago when I started this journey, one of the things that I used to do is to tell myself every morning, I used to do this about 50 times every morning, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself. Lior from Israel, how are you? I used to tell myself, I like myself, I like myself, like 50 times every morning. Sometimes I'd say I love myself, but most of the time I would say I like myself. So I said that affirmation at least 50 times with some other affirmations every single morning for about 6 months. The principle of liking yourself. Why is this important and how can this impact your speech? When you like yourself, when you love yourself, when you like yourself, it increases your self-esteem. And when you increase your self-esteem, when you boost your self-esteem, what happens is you are not as hard on yourself. You don't say things, I did it again. I can't stand when I do that. I'm so stupid. I'm not sure why I did that. You might not say that, but some people do. Right? Some people beat themselves up for their mistakes, whatever they are. And when it comes to speech, some people really beat themselves up. Like, why do I speak like this? Why do I have to speak like this? Or I've tried these programs, I keep starting and stopping. And so they really get down on themselves. Or I just messed up again. I knew I wasn't supposed to do that. Michael told me that I need to do this, and I'm still not doing it right. So we beat ourselves up. Now, when you tell yourself that you like yourself, you're able to accept your finiteness, right? You're able to accept the fact that you're going to mess up, you're going to make mistakes. And you don't necessarily let yourself off the hook, but you say, you know what? Just messed up, just got stuck. That's okay. I'm going to catch it the next time. That's all right. All right, you just messed up. That's no problem. I'm going to catch it the next time. We're going to keep moving. We're going to keep improving. So you don't discourage yourself. You encourage yourself. Sometimes you do have to kick yourself in the butt, but you can do it in a loving way. From Saudi Arabia, yes sir, how are you? Muhammad, good to see you. So you can do this in a loving way. So the first principle that we want to talk about, that we're talking about, is this principle of liking yourself. When you like yourself, you feel better about yourself. When you feel better about yourself, you perform better. You perform better. What we're talking about is that you begin to speak better. Because when you feel better about yourself, it increases your self-confidence as well. It increases your self-esteem, and it increases your confidence because you know that you're going to make it. You know that you're capable of doing it. So you feel better about yourself, about the direction that you're moving in when you tell yourself that you like yourself, as opposed to telling yourself that you've messed up again and discouraging yourself and just pulling yourself down. Does this make sense? So principle number one is the principle of liking yourself. How do you implement this? You do this by simply telling yourself, I like myself. Every single day as a part of your affirmations, I like myself. You also want to do it throughout the day when you've messed up, right? When you've done something that maybe missed the mark and maybe wasn't quite what you wanted to do. Maybe you forgot to do something. You tell yourself, it's okay, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself. I'm going to make it. I'm going to remember to do this the next time, right? This is a process, a journey. You talk to yourself. You tell yourself that you like yourself in the morning and throughout the day, right? Okay. The second principle is the principle of responsibility. It's the principle of responsibility. Remember, if you have questions or comments, right, you don't just have to have a question. If you have a thought while I'm speaking, Moyd, how are you? Moyd, yes sir. Moyd's one of my private coaching clients, and I'm going to be seeing him in just a little bit. Moyd is doing so well. It's great to see you, Moyd. If you have a comment, a thought that goes through your mind while I'm speaking, go ahead and type it down, because your reflections can help other people, right? Can help me, can help other people. So go ahead and type in your reflections, type in your comments, type in your questions. That's why we're doing this live. So the second principle is this principle of responsibility. Now, this is a good one. The first principle was the principle of what? Someone type in for me. In fact, you guys can help me keep a little bit of notes here because I'm speaking. Would someone type for me the first principle? Just go ahead and type that in. I'm not going to repeat it now. I'm going to wait for you to type it in for me. This will help keep us on track and make sure that people joining us knows what the first principle is. Let's talk about the second principle while someone types in the first one. Yes, principle of loving yourself, or loving yourself and or liking yourself. Yes, exactly. Wonderful. Thank you, Leor. So the second principle is principle of responsibility. Someone type that in for me too. Principle of responsibility. Now, what does this mean? It means this. You are, listen, 100% responsible for your life and for your speech. Let me say that again. You're 100% responsible for your life and for your speech. What does this mean? This means that you may not have chosen every aspect of how your life is right now. There are some aspects that you did take part in, right? You are where you are because of some of the decisions that you made. But there's other aspects of our lives that we didn't really take part in. We didn't have a choice in, okay? But you and I always have 100% responsibility for how we respond and for what we do next. Thank you, Moy and Griffin, for typing in the second principle of responsibility. Thank you so much. So we are always responsible for how we respond in what we do. This translates into your speech in that you are 100% responsible for doing what? For improving your speech. 100% responsible for improving. Now, you may not have chosen to struggle with your speech, but unfortunately, you do. In fact, it's actually not unfortunate. It's actually very fortunate that you struggle with your speech. You're saying, what? That's stupid, Michael. No, it's not. Because you're going to become a stronger person, a better person. You're going to have stronger character. You're going to have higher self-esteem. You're going to have higher self-confidence. You're going to be able to do whatever you want to do. You can do it now, but once you've gotten through this, you're going to know that you can accomplish anything you want, because this is probably the most challenging thing that you'll ever do in your life. That is going from wherever you are now to becoming an excellent speaker. And we're going to talk about that when we get into one of the secrets. I'm going to do one of the secrets today because there's 3 of them and I don't want to rush through them. I'll do one of them today and 1 or 2 of them in the next session. Okay. Right now we're working on the 2 principles. And you've typed in the first principle of liking yourself and loving yourself. Second principle is principle of responsibility. So you're responsible for improving your speech. And as a result of you struggling with this, you're going to become a much better person than if you didn't have this challenge. Trust me on that. So you're actually going to look back and say, whew, it was hard, but I'm actually glad this happened to me. I'm glad that I struggled with stuttering. Not because it's my business, because this just became my business, not just. But 2009 is when I actually started with creating online courses. And then I went full-time coaching in 2012. So it's been about 4 years now coaching full-time. But I'm 49 years old. So the vast majority of my life I've done other stuff, right? And I can tell you that I'm so glad that I struggled with stuttering, because all of the other things that I did, wow, having to work on my speech made me better at it, made me stronger. You will be able to say the same. Trust me, you'll be able to say the same. So let's continue getting into this principle of responsibility. What this means is that when you and I accept 100% responsibility for who we are and for where we're going and for the decisions we make and for our responses, you feel more in control of your life. You feel more in control of your life, okay? So you actually feel more in control when you accept 100% responsibility, okay? You actually feel more in control when you accept 100% responsibility. This is important because when you feel more in control, then you don't feel like a what? It starts with a V. When you feel like you're in control and you've accepted 100% responsibility for your life and for your speech, you no longer feel like a what? Someone tell me what you don't feel like, and I'll give you a hint. It starts with a V. Who can type that in for me? Let's see. Victim. Yes, Griffin, that's exactly right. You don't feel like a victim. So many people feel like, oh, this has been done to me. Okay, maybe it was, right? But they feel like a victim. Oh, well, people should accept me for the way that I am. Well, not everyone's going to do that. I should accept myself. Well, you should love and accept yourself. You can accept yourself without staying the same, right? So people feel like, oh, well, they should make stuttering a legal category for, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, the word eludes me right now. But they want to make it so that legally you can go in and say, hey, I stuttered, disability, like a legal disability. Maybe it is, I don't know. But people want to say, this is a legal disability. Why? So that I can just stay the way that I am. I don't have to work hard. And maybe they work hard in other areas, but I know that you can work on your speech. I know you can change your speech from severe to mild. And even people that have had strokes have improved their speech, okay? So I know you can do this. Anyone, I can take virtually anyone unless they have some brain damage, meaning they were in an accident and they might require more intensive therapy, right? So if someone has a stroke, it's a little different. Or if they have Parkinson's, that's a little different. But if it's someone that's stuttered pretty much all their life, I can take that person through this process and they can become good to great speakers. It may take a little longer than what we like, but you can do it. So you don't feel like a victim and you don't go through life feeling victimized by your speech, by stuttering, by your family, by your brain, by whatever. When you take 100% responsibility, you feel more in control. When you feel more in control, you feel more confident. When you feel more confident, you begin to perform better. You begin to be more creative and to look for ways to improve your life and improve your speech. You also, now watch this, you also figure out ways to make the system work, right? So I would have people who would come into this program and just want it all given to them. And I try to do my best to give you everything and to just lay it out so that all you have to do is just plug in and just follow a daily routine. However, some creativity is required. A great sense of responsibility is required where you have to take it and go out and use it. So it's like having a tool. I had a mechanic who I was working with not too long ago. And he said to me, he said, you know, when I first started working on cars, I wasn't quite sure whether or not I could fix a car. I wasn't quite sure of the tools, right, because they were all kind of new. Said, but after some years, I became more confident in the tools. And now I'm at the place, he said, where if you ask me any question about just about any car, I'm confident that I can answer it. He said, I'm also confident in the tools that I use. I know how to use the tools, and I know that they work. I know which tools to use, and I know that they're going to work 100%. He said, that's how I feel about the Pro90D speech system. This is what he said. He said, these tools work, and I know they work, and so I have to have confidence in that. And I know that when I use them, yeah, I have to learn how to use them, but when I use them, I know they're going to work. If they don't work, it's because maybe I'm not using the right tool, or maybe I'm still learning how to use it, right? But he said, I know the tools work, so I have confidence. And because of the confidence he had in his tools, I saw this guy improve his speech. I mean, there were times where he said he couldn't even answer the phone, or he could barely say his name, or he couldn't have a good conversation with his father. And he started to do all those things. Now, his job, unfortunately, changed, and he had to take a break. But I'm really looking forward to getting back with him. But he was making amazing progress in just 3 or 4 weeks. So it's all about the tools, right? You have to have confidence in the tools. Muhammad, we have another Muhammad from Egypt. How are you, Muhammad? So accepting 100% responsibility, right, causes you not to feel like a victim. You feel more in control. You feel more confident. You begin to perform better. You start being more creative in making the tools work for you, right? So you look for ways to make it work. You figure out how to make the tools work for you. And all of these things come from this sense of accepting 100% responsibility for your life and for your speech. When you like yourself, when you tell yourself, from Turkey, hello, I cannot pronounce your name, Farhat, but how are you? Your first name, I cannot, but it's good to see you. When you like yourself, the first principle, you also feel more confident. You feel better about yourself. You don't beat yourself up when you mess up, okay? Now, let's take a look at one of the Stop Stuttering Secrets. We'll look at one today. In the next session, more than likely, we'll be able to cover 2, okay? This first one, in fact, I'm going to make it easy for you to remember all 3 of these. And the first one starts with an F. It's F-I-T, fit. So you can write that down. F-I-T, each one of the letters means something. But this first one starts with an F, and it has to do with focus. So here it is. The first Stop Stuttering secret is this. Focus on becoming an excellent speaker, not on stopping stuttering, not on how to stop stuttering, not on curing stuttering, not even really on overcoming stuttering, although we can use that. And I'll use all those terms. But really, what you're focusing on is becoming an excellent speaker. Now, I want some feedback from you. Give it to me. Tell me why you think shifting your focus, we're talking about 3 Stop Stuttering secrets, and the first Stop Stuttering secret is to shift your focus. That is what you think about, what you say, your activities, what you do, what you spend your money on. Oh boy, I got a big one there. What you spend your money on, right? And programs and stuff. You shift your focus to becoming an excellent speaker. Now, somebody out there tell me why that's more important, why it's better. It is better than focusing on how to stop stuttering or cures for stuttering or even focusing on stuttering at all. Somebody type into the chat box, why is it important to shift your focus and keep it on how to become an excellent speaker? Tell me. Go ahead and type that in. I'm just going to take a little moment while you think and while you type. I'm drinking some ginger tea here, and I'm waiting because I know you've got the answer. Why is it important to shift your focus to becoming an excellent speaker and not on how to stop stuttering? How to shift your focus to become an excellent speaker. Yes. Why is that important? Thank you, Muhammad, for typing that. Thank you so much. Why is it important? Not stuttering. Why is that even important to shift your focus? Why? Why do you think? No right or wrong answers. Just tell me what you think. All right. Moy and Griffin. Cool. All right. Because it's a positive thought. Rather than trying to stop stuttering because the brain will know you're trying to avoid it, so you're more likely to actually stutter. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. More of a positive approach, revitalizing, builds confidence. Yes. Anyone else? Awesome. Exactly. So there were some studies done, just some studies, some little experiments done In fact, we'll just do one right now. And you've done this before, you've heard this before. So I want you to not think about, a red car, Let's just say a red Corvette or a red Porsche. Don't think about a red car or a red Corvette or a red Porsche. I don't want you to think about a red car, a red Porsche, a red Ferrari, a red Corvette, whatever kind of red car you like, a red Honda. Don't think about it. Now, some of you were probably able to distract yourself and think about something else. But some of you, if not most of you, probably thought about a red car, right? You had to picture something red in a car. Why? Because in order to not, now watch this, in order to not think about something, you have to get a concept, an image of what that something is that you're not supposed to be thinking about. Okay? So I'm not supposed to think about something. What is it that I'm not supposed to be thinking about? And if it's not clear in your mind, what does your mind do? Your mind goes and searches to find a clear image or idea or concept of whatever it is that you're not supposed to think about, that you're not supposed to focus on, that you're not supposed to do. In order to not do it, it's got to know what it is. What is it? And if it knows what it is, right, if it has some memory, some history, some storage in your brain of what it is, then it's going to immediately go and say, aha, a red car. It's red. We know what the color red is. We have a reference. We know what a car is, right? We have a reference for that. So now we know what not to think about. But at least for an instant, if not for longer, you thought about a red car. Now, some of you that know this, you could immediately shift over and just think about something else, right? So, okay, I'm not going to fall into that trick. I'm going to think about something else. But more than likely, you had to think about it, right? You had to think about that reference color or whatever it is. It's the same thing when you're trying not to do something. I don't want to get stuck in this conversation. I want to be able to say my name. I hope I don't get stuck saying my name. Well, what happens? Well, the brain says, oh, we don't want to get stuck. What does that mean? You don't even know that this is going on sometime. So what does that mean to not get stuck? It goes back and says, okay, getting stuck saying my name looks like this. We're trying to avoid this. So you're spending all that time actually thinking about the very thing that you don't want to do. And what does that do? It raises your stress level, raises your anxiety, and you're focusing on what you don't want to do, so you actually end up doing it most of the time. Has this ever happened to any of you? I'm sure it has, right? So we don't. There are some very scientific reasons why we really don't want to focus on not stuttering or stopping stuttering or curing stuttering or anything that has to do with stuttering. You will hear me tell you not to use stuttering terminology. Sometimes we use it because it's common, but if you're in this program, if you're in my coaching, don't say I blocked, say I got stuck. Don't say, well, I stuttered yesterday or have the stuttering problem. Say, sometimes I get stuck. I got stuck yesterday, right? Why? Because everyone gets stuck. And what we're doing is we're taking you from thinking of yourself. We talked about identity the last couple of weeks. Taking you from thinking of yourself as a stutterer or even as a person who stutters. We're taking you from that and transforming you into a person that looks at him or herself as an excellent speaker. And you can't think of yourself as an excellent speaker and still think about stuttering. Think of yourself as a stutterer. So Muhammad is asking, the question is how? And we're going to talk about that. And we've been talking about it, but we'll talk about that. So the first one is to shift your focus. This is the first Stop Stuttering secret. It is a secret. Why? Because there are people in this group and people that I talk to who have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on devices. delayed auditory feedback devices. Many of my clients have spent thousands of dollars, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on devices which stop working sometimes within a matter of days or weeks. Many of my clients have spent money on a 3-day program that charges, this lady charges, I'm not going to mention her name, between $6,000 to $8,000. And at least 3 of the people that I talked to, it didn't work at all, right? Or it stopped working in a few days, or it stopped working in a couple of weeks or a month or so. And they spent $6,000 to $8,000. Why? Because they wanted something fast, which is human nature. They wanted something quick. If she's promising me in 3 days, I can overcome, I can stop stuttering. It's just stuttering solved, it's gone. 3 days, and then she shows you videos. Here are some people, here are the before, and here are the after. Well, of course, I can take you, and in 1 day, I can have you speaking smoothly, and I can record a video of you before, and I can record a video of you after in 1 day, or in a couple of hours, and have you speaking smoothly. That doesn't mean SH you know what, right? Because you're going to go back to your everyday environment, and your memory is going to kick in, and you're going to get right back to where you were before you started that thing. It's just how the brain works. It's virtually impossible within a few days, even within a few weeks, to cure, to fix stutter. I'm not saying it's impossible, because I know that there are some people that this have happened to. There's something psychological going on, and once they click, they trigger it, boom, they're beyond it. But trust me, don't spend thousands and thousands of dollars thinking that that's you, because I can tell you it's not, right? It's really not. That just does not happen. It virtually does not happen. And you really wouldn't want it to happen in a sense, because what you really want is you want to focus on becoming an excellent speaker. An excellent speaker, not just not stuttering. You got 2 people. They go in to get a job. And one person doesn't stutter, right? They don't stutter. The other person is an excellent speaker, excellent communicator. All things being equal, who's going to get the job? The excellent communicator. All things being equal. You're in a job, right? And you want to move forward. You want to persuade people. You want to be an influence. You want to be a leader. And you got one person who doesn't stutter, but they're okay, right, in their communication. And then you got another person who's an excellent speaker. Who's going to be the leader? Who's going to be more persuasive? The person who's an excellent speaker. So tell me, which would you rather do? Which would you rather spend your time and your money on? Just not stuttering. Some people say, yes, that's what I want to do, not stuttering. This program isn't for you. Yes, it can work for you, but it's really not for you. This program is for people that want to invest their time and money in becoming an excellent speaker. Why not go through the same process and become an excellent speaker rather than just not stuttering? That's not enough. It's not good enough. And it really doesn't work, to tell you the truth. For most people, it doesn't work, right? You just get up to a place where you're managing your speech. You're managing your speech. So Muhammad was asked, well, how do we do it? Is it affirmations? You know, Michael, I've been in this program, been working, and yeah, my speech has improved, but I'm still not to like where you are. I'm still not at this, at this place where I'm just not thinking about speaking. So we're still in the same principle, which is the F, right? It's F-I-T. We're going to talk about the F today. Focus, or shift your focus to becoming an excellent speaker. How do you do this? All right, let me just give you a few things that you can do. One thing we talk about, and it's in the Pro90D speech system, it is modeling. It is modeling. There are some skills that we teach, extending your words, just telling yourself to slow down. Believe it or not, just telling yourself to slow down, relax. Extending your words, inflecting your words. In many job applications, they say, we're looking for people with excellent communication skills who are able to modulate or inflect their voice when they speak. Why? Because they don't want you in there just speaking like a robot, speaking like this. So inflecting your voice. Using body language, facial expression, so you're not sitting there like just a piece of wood, like a tree, like this, no expressions, right? So they're looking for people that have excellent communication skills. That's what we're teaching you. Everything you learn in the Pro90D speech system isn't really geared towards helping you stop stuttering. It's helping you focus on and become an excellent speaker, right? Because if you become an excellent speaker, the stuttering fades away. Do I still get stuck? You bet. Of course I still get stuck. I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and there was a word that didn't want to come out, and I airflow linked it just naturally. I barely think, just airflow linked it. And then I stopped and I said, now see, I just airflow linked, because we were talking about airflow. I just airflow linked that word, right? He said, really? Yeah. I said, because I felt like it didn't want to come out, so I airflow linked it and just kept going. No one could tell, right? Because other people do the same thing. They're speaking this, and then they stop, and then they go back, and they keep going. Well, they're not thinking I'm airflow linking. They're just, their brain is just doing whatever it needs to do to keep them speaking fluently. Because if it didn't, then they would be stuttering, right? So trust me, what you're learning is helping you become air. So one way, how, is to focus on someone that speaks the way you'd like to speak. It's modeling. It's how you learn how to speak in the first place. It's how we learn how to do many things. Focus on someone who speaks the way you want to speak. This is what I did. This is what I did. This is what many of my clients have done. What Sakshi did, what Mona did, what many of my clients have done. Some clients, some students don't focus on that. They focus on the techniques and tools. Why? Because it's actually a little easier, something you can get right now. And it is important for you to have these tools so you can start speaking well now. But long term, if you want to get to the place where you're not thinking of yourself as a person who stutters, if you want to get to the place where you're not thinking about speaking, I'm not thinking about speaking right now, I'm not thinking about the words. If you want, hey, Jesse, how are you? Missed you the other night. Let's catch up and look at our schedules. So, and I'm going to answer your questions in just a moment. If you want to get to the place where you've totally transformed your identity and where you're just speaking smoothly and you're not thinking about speaking and you're speaking well, modeling is the bridge to that destination. Modeling is the bridge to that destination. So you've got to put in some time and work, but guess what? You don't have to model forever. Most of my clients who intensively focus on modeling only have to do it for a month or two before they gradually don't have to think about, well, how would Michael say this? How would Michael say this? Right? That starts becoming less and less, and then they take on a new style of their own, right? Which has some aspects and elements of my style incorporated, but they take on their own style. Some people may take them a month, some 2 months, some 3 months. So what? It doesn't matter. So let me just take a break. Raja, how are you? Muhammad, all right. Let me go back. Can we use affirmations such as I speak like Michael Williams or I speak just like Michael Williams? You know what? I've never told anyone to use that affirmation because it would sound a little egotistical in a sense, but it's a tool and it's something that you can do short term. So yes, you could actually use that affirmation to trigger the image of how Michael Williams speaks. How does Michael Williams speak? I speak just like Michael Williams, right? And when you say that, all of a sudden it triggers a different state. Boom, you go into that state. Now what I used to do is I used to speak like a couple of my models, Brian Tracy. And I still have some elements of his speech now, some 10 or 15, 20 years later. So I would study this guy, I would listen to his audios, watch some of his videos, create my own presentations based on his presentations, and just watch things that this guy did, the way he squared his shoulders, the way he used his hands, words that he would say, how he would move his head and his face, the speed at which he would speak. I speak a little slower now because of my audience, but I would study him and I would literally practice saying things just like Brian Tracy would say until it just became natural. So whenever I did a presentation, boom, I would just shift into this new mode, right? I would shift into this new mode. Hello, artists. And so this would take me into a different state, and eventually it became my own. I made it my own. So the how do you do it? You focus on someone who speaks the way you'd like to speak. And you can have, it's better to have one model, but you could have two models, right? You don't want to have probably more than two models. So the how, Yeah, affirmations, you said. So let me go back to the affirmation here. Could you say something like, I speak like Michael Williams. I speak just like Michael Williams. Yes. Yes, you absolutely can do that. Harry, how are you? I missed you there. All right, let me just get to a couple of questions here. Michael, did you have experience in particular situations? Did you have experience in particular, such as when you have to disagree with someone or be assertive in social situations? How did you practice those in low pressure situations? Let me see what else we got. For me, even when practicing daily, I still feel the adrenaline kicking in those situations, find it hard to step back and use the tools and still sound natural. Okay. Okay. Specific situations. Yeah. You know what? It comes with you practicing in low situations, but also being in enough high pressure situations that you're able to still use the tools. I mean, that's with anything, right? Playing an instrument, speaking a language, learning to use a tool when someone's watching you or you're around, right? You can do it by yourself, especially language. I really like to use language, right? Because I can speak a little Spanish by myself, right? But when I go out and I'm sitting there and I'm talking to the waiter, say, you know, buenas noches, mi nombre es Miguel y yo quisiera algo para tomar, right? So if I'm doing that, all of a sudden, all of that stuff doesn't come out, just gets stuck, right? So then I got to do something to get the flow going or relax myself. But if I don't actually go out and put myself in situations where I have to speak Spanish under pressure, then I'll never be able to do it. So I have to go out, get under pressure, go through that little period of getting stuck and not being able to just work through that. And then all of a sudden, I start becoming more fluent, more relaxed, and more confident. So to answer your question, the only way to do it is through it, right? You got to be in, and obviously we don't want you in arguments all the time, but you just have to be in those kinds of higher pressure situations, and then what? And then use the tool. Just work your way through it. Make yourself, force yourself, get yourself to use the tool. The more you do it, the better it's going to work. I hope I answered your question, right? So even with the adrenaline, you have to learn how to just say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. What I find is that if you're modeling, the more you model every day, even in conversations, you can model, right? You don't have to speak the way you do in a presentation. You can speak, you can model in a conversation. You can do that. I can have people do it. I can say, okay, tell me what you did today, but model me. And they'll do it, and they'll speak well. So what we're saying is, the more you model, the more you get used to doing it, the easier it becomes. So you got to model every day, every time you speak. Then when you're in high pressure, then you're more likely to be able to use modeling. So I hope that answers your question. Jesse, okay, yeah, somehow I guess I didn't get that message that we had rescheduled, so I guess I'll see you today, but I'll talk to you about that. All right, so one thing that has helped me is to tell myself, I don't give a damn what other people are thinking or saying about me. I'm going to pause, relax, and say what I have to say. And an add-on to help me is the technique of blending and finishing my words. Hope this helps. Yes, Sadia, how are you? Good to see you here. Absolutely. So that's one of the affirmations, but that's a modified version of it, right? I don't give a damn. I don't care about what people say or think. I'm going to take my time. So when you do, now those are using techniques, which are very important, right? The techniques are there for a reason, for you to use in your everyday speech. Modeling, though, is the way that takes you to the next level. The next level is you literally transform your identity. The techniques and the tools are used to help you to start improving your speech like right now. Modeling can help you do that too. But we use the tools to give you something to fall back on, to give you something to use now. And what will happen is you'll need to use less and less tools. You might only use one or two tools going forward, even after you transform your speech. I have one tool that I use most of the time when I get stuck. It's airflow linking. So when I get stuck, generally I'm just going to use airflow linking, either naturally, when I don't even think about it, or consciously, when I have to think about it, right? Modeling, though, gets you to the place, where you don't have to think and you literally become a different person. You see yourself as more calm. I have people who are telling me now that people have told them, hey, man, you're really speaking well. That was a great presentation. That was very, very smooth. Had a client tell me that yesterday. Had another client tell me that a week ago. So modeling is what does it. So if you're still not sure about modeling, or you don't trust it, or you feel like it hasn't worked, get into those videos in the course where I talk about modeling, ask me questions about how to model, and attend a boot camp, right? Attend a boot camp, because in these boot camps, we're actually going to practice modeling. I'm going to pair you up with someone, show you how to do it. I'm going to get a couple of people that I'm going to work with one-on-one. I'm going to pair you up and have you actually practice modeling, okay? So, all right, so we talked about a few things today. We're going to stop here. I'm going to wrap it up, but talked about a few things. We talked about the F in the 3 Stop Stuttering Secrets. The F, we'll talk about the I and the T the next time, next week. But the F stands for focus. Shift your focus from how to stop stuttering, curing stuttering, let me buy a device, let me get this 3-day program and get this over with, let me go to this 3-week program. No, forget about all that stuff. Even speech therapists, people go to speech therapists. I understand why. They go there because they want to stop stuttering. Forget about stop stuttering. Focus on becoming an excellent speaker. How do you do it? Affirmations is one, right? And modeling is the other. When you model, you physiologically rewire your brain, right? You physiologically rewire your brain. If someone were to take a mental imprint or map your brain, they would see these new neural pathways, these new connections actually being established as you're modeling, as you're watching someone. There's something called mirror neurons. So check this out. When you watch someone, when you study someone doing something similar, performing a similar skill to a skill that you know how to perform, there are these neurons that actually light up in your brain in the areas that manage that activity. So, say for instance that you know how to play an instrument, let's just say the keyboard, and then you watch someone else playing the keyboard, the neurons that manage, right, the neurological pathways that manage you playing the keyboard begin to light up as you watch someone else do it. I've experienced, and I really hardly cannot play the keyboard, but I've experienced actually being able to play the keyboard better after watching someone and studying someone else do it. It's these mirror neurons that light up. So that's why built into the program, you study, for example, you study me, you watch me, you listen to me, and then you practice it yourself. You're literally rewiring your brain. So that's the shift your focus to becoming an excellent speaker. How? Modeling and affirmations. There are probably some other things too, but those are 2 big ones. We also talked about a couple of principles. If you missed that, go back and watch it. Principle of liking yourself. Liking yourself. When you like yourself, you feel better. You're not going to discourage yourself. You're going to say, okay, I messed up that time. That's all right. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing this. How do you start to like yourself? You tell yourself, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself. Every morning I should do it 50 times. Second principle of responsibility. You accept 100% responsibility for your life and your speech. Don't feel like a victim. Don't say, oh, I have this problem, I can't get rid of it. I tried your program, Michael, it didn't work. I tried this, I got this device, I'm stuck. No, you can do it. There's too many people that I've personally worked with. I'm just one small little person. I've personally worked with people and watched them dramatically improve their speech, right? We're not talking about reaching perfection. I'm not perfect. I still get stuck, right? We're talking about becoming an excellent speaker. You can be an excellent speaker and still get stuck sometimes, right? So you change your expectations. So you become 100% responsible for your life and for your speech, for making this thing work. All right? Now, got some big changes that I mentioned to you that are coming. Just want to share those with you. I'm going to be posting a link, so please check back, check your emails, check this Facebook group, because we're scheduling another boot camp. I've changed the name of it slightly. It's still called boot camp. It's called the Smooth Speech Boot Camp. And that's going to be in, let me just check the calendar here. I think I'm going to have that on the 13th from 10 a.m. Pacific time to 12 p.m. Pacific time. And we can play with those times going forward. So we're going to have another boot camp. We're going to focus on two things. Airflow linking, that is maintaining airflow, learning how to get airflow, learning how to maintain it, and modeling. We're going to focus on those two things. Now, you can register for that boot camp by clicking the link that I'm going to post in the next few hours. It is $97 for that boot camp. If you are not already taking the full Pro90D program, you will have an opportunity to upgrade. I have modified the program itself again and the pricing of the program. Let me just briefly explain what you're going to be getting in the program. Everyone who gets into what we used to call a self-study will have access to the boot camp sessions. They'll be able to come to as many boot camps as they want. Definitely encourage you to come to at least one. Why? So that you understand how to get the most from the program. It's a live 2-hour session. Number two, you work on two of the most important skills, airflow and modeling. Right? We're going to work on those. So you come to the boot camp, that's what you're going to get. You can get the boot camp at $97. You also can upgrade to get the full course where you have access to the boot camp. You also are going to get a 30-minute private coaching session with myself or Sakshi after you've been in the program for 8 weeks. So after you go through the course for 8 weeks, this is first come, first serve, right? So it's based on our schedule. You're going to have a 30-minute coaching session with myself or Sakshi. And Sakshi's very, very good, working on her master's in psychology. She's been a student and a client. She's very, very good. So either one of us, you'll get that session. But here's something else I'm very excited about. You're also going to get in this new boot camp course, right? You're going to get essentially all the audio and video and some PDFs in a Box application. Some of you are familiar with Box because I'm using it in the course now, but I'm actually putting everything in there. And you're going to have a link that you can click and open it up on your mobile device. I'm using my mobile device to record this. I can't show you, but I have videos that you can look. I'll put the link for you. And what this will do is this will allow you to, when you open it up in the app, so you're going to have an app of all of the materials, all the resources you need from this course. You will be able to listen offline. It says save for offline. So a video, you can make it available offline. Audio, you can make it available off so you don't burn up your data. I know that's important for some of you, right? You're going to have access to that in this new version. I'm actually going to put it in the new Pro90D self-study that some people are in now, and in this new boot camp version, right? So you're going to have access. So it's like having the newest, latest mobile app version of everything. So 3 big changes. 1, a boot camp. Number 2, a mobile app, right? A new mobile app. Number 3, 30 minutes of private coaching with myself or Sakshi. The new program will cost $4.99. $4.99 if you go to the boot camp, then obviously I'm actually going to give you a discount on that if you upgrade, okay, for the new program. So really it's like $150 more than what it is now. It's $349. $150 more, but you're getting all this stuff. Not only that, there are 3 payment plans, right? 3 payment plans. So for some of you that are not able to or don't want to make that full payment, there are payment plans for you to get that. So click the link that I post for you. Register for this boot camp coming up on the 13th. It's first come, first serve, right? You want to get into the boot camp so that you can hit the ground running or so that you can get a refresher. Number 2, if you're not already in the course, go ahead and do the upgrade when you get the boot camp, or ask me about an upgrade so that you can get into this new system. If you just purchased the Pro90D, I can automatically upgrade you into this. Like if you just purchased and you've spent $350 or whatever, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade you for free into this new version. The boot camps, however, though, are $97. It's not $97 every time. You pay $97 once and come to as many boot camps as you want. All right? If you have any questions about any of that, just ask me those questions. I'm going to send you a link to a website that explains it. Any questions, anything that's not clear, ask me about that. I'm also going to send you a link specifically to the boot camp, right? Specifically to the boot camp, which is only $97, okay? So, any other questions? Jesse, staying relaxed is a huge component for me. Reduce stress, eating clean, exercise, affirmations on achieving relaxation all really helped me out. I had an important meeting this morning, yes, that went really well, and I prepped for it for the better part of an hour. Awesome. Looking forward to talking with you about that, Jesse. Tools are like the side of the ladder that helps you while you're going up to your flat. Modeling is the steps that you actually have to step on. Awesome, Muhammad. Thank you. Could you please also mail us the audio of this session? I'll see what I can do. They posted, and I should be able to rip an audio out of it. So, I'm going to wrap up because I have a client in 4 minutes, Moid. So we'll see you guys later. Please leave your questions. Check back here for that boot camp. Get into the boot camp, okay? We'll see you later. And thanks for joining me.